Arsenal versus Man City could define the Premier League title race. It's an absolutely massive game. In this video, we're going to break it down from Arsenal and Man City's perspective. And at the end of the video, a bit of a combined 11 based on form makes for some very interesting reading. And of course, a big, fat, bold score prediction. An overview of the game has to be that if Arsenal win this game, they keep up pace with Liverpool. They got a very tough game against a very good Everton side this weekend. But you feel that any draw for both sides puts massive pressure already on the Premier League title race. For Manchester City, a win here would be huge, particularly stopping and slowing down Arsenal this season as well, who could end up losing to the likes of Liverpool and Man City already. That wouldn't be a good look. That's why it's such a massive game from both perspectives. And it can't be a draw. A draw feels like mutual self-destruction. It's a massive game. It really, really is. And that's down to the unbelievable success of Liverpool so far this season. I don't think they're the best side I've ever seen in terms of form. They're winning games of football. They've got greater mentality and experience of winning titles than either Arsenal or this current generation of the Manchester City side. Some interesting points for Arsenal first going into the game. The first one has to be Eze. Does he start on the left instead of Martinelli? Does he start alongside Martinelli in a more narrow midfield position? That would be the big conundrum for Mikel Arteta, because Eze, one of my favourite players in the Premier League, currently adjusting to life at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Mikel Arteta, we're seeing clips on social media of him shouting at Eze to hug the touchline, stretch the pitch, a bit like Jack Grealish at Manchester City, where I love Jack Grealish at Man City 1,000,000%. He's a different player to Eze. Eze wants to run. He's a little bit more leggy than Jack Grealish. He wants to drive at people. And ultimately, playing on the left, it isn't his game. He's not Noni Madueke. He's not Martinelli. He's not even Trossard when he plays out there. Saka. He needs to be in the middle of the pitch. He is being wasted out there. If you're seeing Calafiori making inverted runs through the middle of the pitch, playing in a number 10 position at points, that isn't right, is it? Moreno's operating in space that Eze would be doing unbelievable things in. Now, ultimately, Athletic Bilbao was a great result away from home in the Champions League, but you do feel he was slightly underappreciated in that game, slightly underused. Noni Madueke, a lot of it went through him. A lot of this, the kind of out ball is going to Noni Madueke on the right-hand side, so Eze's not even getting any of the ball on the other flank. If he's in that midfield position, he could link up with Madueke, which would be a scary proposition for Manchester City. You had to say Noni Madueke, outstanding, and the biggest comment that you could give about Noni Madueke's form, maybe the goals and the numbers and the pure statistics aren't there right now, but his total contribution is superb. I still think he could tidy up his end product, but you have to say that Arsenal don't look dramatically worse without Bukayo Saka. They'd be a lot better if he was back in, of course, with Madueke, but it's not that there's a massive drop-off in quality. Madueke has been putting up some very, very good performances, and for England as well. He'll be a massive, massive threat in this game, particularly against Nico O'Reilly. We'll talk about Man City later in the video, but Nico O'Reilly, a superb young talent. I thought he handled the Napoli forwards very, very well in the Champions League midweek. Noni Madueke was rinsing Morato from Nottingham Forest last week. Absolutely scary stuff. I backed Nico O'Reilly over him all day long to put in a good defensive performance, but that'll be a big question mark for Manchester City, how to handle Noni Madueke. So for me, Eze, does he start on the left? I think you've got to be ambitious in this game. You're at home, it's early. Take some lessons from the Liverpool loss. If you start Moreno midfield, Eze on the left, Eze doesn't influence things. Eze doesn't sort of influence any kind of open play goals, and it's 0-0 going into the 70th minute, and Moreno's still playing in that midfield position instead of Eze. That would be a crying shame. I think it would put a lot of pressure on Mikel Arteta if he doesn't adjust. Now, I like Mikel Moreno. He's a good footballer. He's a good squad player. But ultimately, there is a midfield there with the likes of Zubimendi, Eze and Rice with no Odegaard, where you can play Martinelli on the left. Martinelli was absolutely superb. He's had some decent performances against Manchester City in the last few years as well. Go for the jugular. And Eze, we're talking about Eze like he's some sort of luxury footballer, like he doesn't work hard off the ball. Do you think Oliver Glasner would have played him if he was doing that? Like, he works hard, he works tirelessly, he links up play, he can drop deep. It's absurd, this idea that he has to play on the left because otherwise there'll be some sort of defensive frailties in midfield. Of course, he's not quite Mikel Moreno maybe in the box, but what you lose in terms of Eze's defensive qualities in midfield, which isn't that much, You gain in an actual footballer at home against Manchester City, who aren't the prime Man City of old. Eze has to play in the middle, in my honest opinion. Big game for Victor Gyökeres, scored a hat-trick against Man City last season for Sporting Lisbon. It'd be interesting to see how he performs against top 6 opposition. I thought he struggled at points at Anfield, put in a good shift, no question about it. Linked up play pretty well, didn't get that goal, of course, at Anfield. But I like Victor Gyökeres. He's looking leaner and sharper every single game. Defensively for Arsenal, they've got so many good problems to have. They've probably got 8 defenders that could all start. I mean, Ben White's not even going to get a sniff, is he? Let's be real. Skelly's not going to get a sniff. He was outstanding against Man City last season because of the fact that Calafiori's been superb this season. Mosquera, I think he's been their best centre-back so far. He could end up getting dropped out, or you play Mosquera at right back. It's a very, very nice problem to have. There are other sides in the Premier League that haven't even got one good defender. I mean, Chelsea, obviously, Reece James is a good defender. Cucurella's okay. But Arsenal have probably got 4 or 5 centre-backs that would all start for Chelsea. That's how good it is for Arsenal, ahead of David Raya, who I'm a massive fan of. So that'd be a big question mark. Do you bring Saliba back for Mosquera, or do you bring Saliba back and Timber gets replaced with Mosquera? That'd be an interesting one. Matching up, having an extra centre-back, more of a powerful centre-back at right-back versus Timber, who's probably more of a naturalised full-back, even though he's also a centre-back as well. That's a very interesting debate. Let's move on to Manchester City. Very impressive win against Napoli. Rodri is looking like he's in fantastic form. Phil Foden is putting in unbelievable numbers. The amount of big chances he created in the game was absolutely staggering. I think it was 8 big chances in the Champions League game, which is a very, very rare amount of chances to see by any one player in a game like that. Absolutely superb. And his connection with Erling Haaland will be absolutely scintillating at the Emirates, particularly when it's that kind of pressure from Arsenal. Arsenal are going to have a lot of the ball. I think Foden and Haaland is a beautiful counter-attacking kind of system. You don't need to have loads of the ball for Foden and Haaland to click. It can just be one moment. Look at the Haaland goal against Napoli. It was scary good. One little flick over the top, and Haaland's got a goal out of nowhere. It was absolutely incredible. So Foden and Haaland, and you create a kind of midfield around him, I think that'd be absolutely scary. There is a question mark about Reinders, in my honest opinion. I could see a world where you play someone like Nico Gonzalez instead of Reinders, play 4-2-3-1, have Foden, Bernardo Silva, and maybe Doku floating about. Maybe you drop Doku and keep Reinders and have a 4-2-3-1 with Nico Gonzalez as well. That'd be a big question mark. For me, the back 5 is very, very settled. Back-to-back clean sheets. You have to say, as a City fan, you don't see many clean sheets back-to-back in the last couple of seasons. There's always a cheeky goal in there. There's always the back line being a little bit defensively frail. A Manchester derby and then a Champions League home game against Conte, back-to-back clean sheets because of Donnarumma's brilliance. Pulled off some great saves against Napoli, great saves against Manchester United. He could make a difference against Arsenal. He really, really could. This is how good the sign of Donnarumma is. He's a better keeper than David Raya. Last season, Ederson wasn't better than David Raya. Already, Man City have now improved on David Raya. These are the facts, whether you like it or not. The back 5 is far more settled. Kuznov a right back, outstanding in the last couple of games. Nico O'Reilly, athletic, calm as well under pressure, super footballer. And then you got Gvardiol and Ruben Diaz. They're building a really long-lasting, powerful relationship. And John Stones going to struggle to get back into this side, even though I'm the biggest John Stones fan on the planet. It's a very settled back line. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I really, really do. If you did a combined 11 right now, I think it says a lot about what Arsenal and Manchester City are right now. Donnarumma has to start. I think Donnarumma starts for Arsenal 1,000,000%. Jurrien Timber at right back, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori. That's how good this back four's form is. One of the meanest defences I've seen in the last 5 to 10 years in the Premier League. It's a scary, scary defence. And then you'd have to throw in Rodri, Zubimendi, Declan Rice into a combined midfield. And then Foden on one side, Madueke on the other, and Erling Haaland down the middle. So that's a majority of Arsenal players. So that's the kind of challenge that Man City are going into this game. An Arsenal side that are very, very good, in form, smash Leeds, smash Nottingham Forest. Unlucky and against Liverpool, really, with a beautiful free kick last minute. They didn't show enough mentality in the game. And Arsenal have to try and show a leader mentality, to try and snatch a Premier League title from Liverpool. This game's not really about Manchester City on some level. If Arsenal have got the quality, they should be at this point now, beating Man City at home. This should be happening right now. It has to be, because this is where Arsenal have been developing for all these years, sticking by Mikel Arteta. These are the kind of games, you don't draw this game 0-0. It kills both teams in the Premier League title race. Seriously, so Arsenal have to snatch and grab the Premier League title from Liverpool by winning these kind of games. It's no good losing 1-0 to Liverpool. It's no good losing 1-0 to City at home. It would be the final nail in the coffin, dare I say. And that's why I think Man City are going to win the game 2-1. Haaland brace, he's the best striker in the world. And I feel that Arteta's mentality could cost him. But it is a super game of football. It's very tight. It's very hard to call. And Arsenal, there's no question about it, are in better form than Man City, even though Man City have turned things around in the last couple of games. Ultimately, if City lose this game, it could be the end of the title race. I just think there's something in it. I think there's something there. I think Guardiola's found some element of a defensive line to build from. I'm going 2-1, no bias. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you very, very soon.